chemistry developed, it was applied to the investigation of soil fertility. The French chemist Antoine Lavoisier showed in about 1778 that plants and animals must combust oxygen internally to live. He was able to deduce that most of the 165 pound, 75 kilograms, weight of Van Helmont's willow tree derived from air. 266. It was the French agriculturalist Jean-Baptiste Boussingault who by means of experimentation obtained evidence showing that the main sources of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen for plants were air and water, while nitrogen was taken from soil. 267. Justus von Liebig in his book Organic Chemistry in its Applications to Agriculture and Physiology, published 1840, asserted that the chemicals in plants must have come from the soil and air, and that to maintain soil fertility, the used minerals must be replaced. 268. Liebig nevertheless believed the nitrogen was supplied from the air. The enrichment of soil with guano by the Incas was rediscovered in 1802, by Alexander von Humboldt. This led to its mining and that of chileanitrate and to its application to soil in the United States and Europe after 1840. 269. The work of Liebig was a revolution for agriculture, and so other investigators started experimentation based on it. In England, John Bennett Laws and Joseph Henry Gilbert worked in the Rotenstedt Experimental Station, founded by the former, and discovered that plants took nitrogen from the soil, and that salts needed to be in an available state to be absorbed by plants. Their investigations also produced the superphosphate, consisting in the acid treatment of phosphate rock. 270. This led to the invention and use of salts of potassium, K, and nitrogen, N, as fertilizers. Ammonia generated by the production of coke was recovered and used as fertilizer. 271. Finally, the chemical basis of nutrients delivered to the soil in manure was understood, and in the mid-19th century chemical fertilizers were applied. However, the dynamic interaction of soil and its life forms was still not understood. In 1856, J. Thomas Way discovered that ammonia contained in fertilizers was transformed into nitrates. 272, and 20 years later Robert Warrington proved that this transformation was done by living organisms. 273, in 1890 Sergei Winogradsky announced he had found the bacteria responsible for this transformation. 274, it was known that certain legumes could take up nitrogen from the air and fix it to the soil, but it took the development of bacteriology towards the end of the 19th century to lead to an understanding of the role played in nitrogen fixation by bacteria. The symbiosis of bacteria and leguminous roots, and the fixation of nitrogen by the bacteria, were simultaneously discovered by the German agronomist Hermann Helrich and the Dutch microbiologist Martinus Beijerinck. 270. Crop rotation, mechanization, chemical and natural fertilizers led to a doubling of wheat yields in Western Europe between 1800 and 1900. 275. Studies of soil formation. The scientists who studied the soil in connection with agricultural practices had considered it mainly as a static substrate. However, soil is the result of evolution from more ancient geological materials, under the action of biotic and abiotic processes. After studies of the improvement of the soil commenced, other researchers began to study soil genesis and as a result also soil types and classifications. In 1860, while in Mississippi, Eugene W. Hilgard, 1833-1916, studied the relationship between rock material, climate, vegetation, and the type of soils that were developed. He realized that the soils were dynamic, and considered the classification of soil types. 276. His work was not continued. At about the same time, Friedrich Albert Fallow was describing soil profiles and relating soil characteristics to their formation as part of his professional work evaluating forest and farmland for the Principality of Saxony. His 1857 book, Anfangsgründe der Bodenkunde, First Principles of Soil Science, established modern soilscience. 277, contemporary with Fallow's work, and driven by the same need to accurately assess land for equitable taxation, Vasily Dokakiv led a team of soil scientists in Russia who conducted an extensive survey of soils, observing that similar basic rocks, climate and vegetation types lead to similar soil-layering GAN types, and established the concepts for soil classifications. Due to language barriers, the work of this team was not communicated to Western Europe until 1914 through a publication in German by Konstantin Glinka, a member of the Russian team. 278, Curtis F. Marbut, influenced by the work of the Russian team, translated Glinka's publication into English. 279, and, as he was placed in charge of the U.S. National Cooperative Soil Survey, applied it to a national soil classification system. 263, see also. Icon. Environment Portal. Icon. Geology Portal. Acid sulfate soil. Agrophysics. Crust. Agricultural science. Factors affecting permeability of soils. Index of soil-related articles. Mycorrhizal fungi and soil carbon storage. Shrink swell capacity. Soil biodiversity. Soil liquefaction. Soil moisture velocity equation. Soil zoology. Tillage erosion. World Soil Museum. Red soil. References. Vorony, R. Paul, Heck, Richard J. 2000.
Good. I did finish. Yes. It's late, so I like to go to bed. I have to read, but I have many hundred more I like to read. So I will go to bed.